Good morning. Thank you. I'm fine.
Great to have you with us. Give us a sense of the anticipation then that you have ahead of this game against the USA. How confident are you that the Netherlands can get the job done?
Well, to be honest, of course, we should be able. I said the minimum for the Dutch would be a quarterfinal, and maybe a maximum would be a semi-final. But as far as the tournament goes, I don't think we've seen the best of the Dutch yet. Why? I'm not sure if it's down to the system we're playing. Maybe it's because too many players are not in the best form, not even at their club, so it's difficult to take that with you into the World Cup. Maybe they're growing into the tournament, that could be another one, but it's not been convincing just yet. So we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be difficult against the US because I've seen them play and they had a lot of energy going forward, and I think we just lacked a bit of energy.
One thing I would say, Bolo, is that, in the group stages, you played two decent sides in Senegal, who obviously qualified alongside the Netherlands, and Ecuador, I thought were a really difficult team to play. So, they've come out of a group that wasn't, just a given, that it was going to be, easy to qualify.
No, you're right. And also, as I said, when I said it's not to be disrespectful to the other teams. It's just that if you look at how it all went, it's not that you've been really in control. Yes, we didn't concede too many chances. But on the other side, what worries me a little bit is that you don't create enough. You're not doing enough going forward. And of course, it's important in a tournament not to concede a goal. But you also want to see at least that there's a certain, fire going forward. And that's something that normally with the Dutch, you see a lot of attractive attacking football with a lot of chances. And we've been missing that. Normally with the system, Van Gaal is playing with five in the back. Normally the full backs are the ones that should be bombing on and making sure that we have some crosses into the box. But for now, it's not really happening. So that worries me a bit, where I say, okay, why is this? Is it because we play the system? Is it because some players are not on the best form? Maybe they still have to peak. So there's still a lot in the locker, and there's still a lot to improve. But as you say, yeah, of course, it's never easy playing a tournament. You know how it goes.
Do you ever sense that Louis van Gaal could change the system? Because you keep mentioning the system that you're not quite in favour of. No, he's very structured,
isn't he? He's not going to do it.
Yeah,
he's not going to do it. That's why what I also think is maybe he knows by playing this system, this is something that he will actually need to go through in this tournament. For example, if you play five in the back, I would say when you play a team like Qatar, maybe you could have done the job playing a 4-3-3. But because he knows probably when you get along, maybe already against the US or even after when you play, for example, I think on our side it could be Argentina, this is when he's going to need this system. So what he's literally... I'm not sure, but maybe he's actually using these games in the system to prepare them for what's still coming.
Bolan, we mentioned and we talked about Holland as a team, but individually you mentioned goals. Ruud van Nistelrooy in the past, Patrick Kluivert. You've got Cody Gakpo, who's pretty much looking like a player of 23 years old, as a very bright future in the game.
Yeah, he definitely has a future. I've been working very closely with him at PSV Eindhoven. I've seen him grow, literally, not only by centimeters, but also by stature. So yeah, he's really been developing himself. When he entered the scene, he was definitely more the wide player who had a lot of crosses and assists. That's how he got important, and then he started focusing on scoring goals, and then all of a sudden he scored a lot of goals, but he didn't give any more decisive passes or assists. So now in our time we've been working on those aspects as well, and now all of a sudden this season things he's been able to combine the both. So he's been literally involved in many goals, either by scoring or by an assist. And he's taken his form from the club into this World Cup. You know, in the summer, you've been closer to the fire than I have. He was very close. At least there was interest from Manchester United to get him over. But eventually it didn't happen. I also believe that even Leeds and Southampton were in the frame to get him to the Premier League. But he decided to stay at PSV and to perform well and to prepare himself for the World Cup. So I guess that was a perfect choice for him, because everything is paying off at the minute. And I'm not sure if PSV can keep him after this World Cup in the winter transfer window, or will he still finish at PSV and go in the summer? But for one thing's for sure, this is going to be his last season at PSV.
Well, his reputation is growing ever more, isn't it, with what he's achieving out here in Qatar. In terms of how far he can reach, where would you put him? I mean, what kind of level do you think he can get to? Can he play at the highest level in the Premier League, for example? You know what the Premier League's like. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is now in the World Cup, he's actually been the first Dutch player to score 3 goals in consecutive goals in the World Cup in the first 3 games. Also, he scored with the left foot, with the right foot, and with a header. So he's literally made a hat trick over 3 games. He's definitely got a bright future. He's strong. He's able to dribble. He's not backing out of any situation. But of course, he's, in my opinion, he's, as you say, he's still a young player, so he still has to develop. Is he capable of adapting himself? I think he can. And yeah, it's logic to be making the next step now at his age to go and perform on a different level. This year he played in the European competitions for PSV. He didn't really perform at his best yet, but I also think that had to do a little bit with probably all the interest that was surrounding him. I mean, it always happens that when there's a lot of interest and talks about maybe leaving, and you have to think of the choices you have to make sometimes, then all of a sudden you don't play as best as you can, but he picked it up again. So yeah, I think he could be a great addition to the Premier League.
It does sound as though you've not been wowed by the Netherlands as of yet at this World Cup, but they do go through to the last 16 unbeaten, Bolo. How far do you yourself expect them to go? Will they get past the USA first of all, and then how deep can they go?
Well, I think I mentioned it in the beginning, where I said I think a quarterfinal is a minimum and a semi-final is maybe a maximum. There still has to be a great steps forward to be made to actually make it through. I know down the line you need a little bit of luck as well. We know that Louis van Gaal in his past always had a little bit of luck. Going into these tournaments, As I said, I'm not convinced yet. I'm really looking forward to it though, because you know in the tournament, at a certain moment something can happen that all of a sudden sparks a fire and things are going the way you want it to go. But it's not that the Dutch at the moment have really won over not only the Dutch fans, but I guess everybody. And yeah, the results are there. I know in the end it's important to top your group and to win your games. But it's like when you play for the Dutch, sometimes it's the same as when you play for a team like Ajax. Winning is just not enough. You also need to play good football, and that's still at the minute lacking.
I think Gareth Southgate has felt that as well. Sometimes it's performance over everything sometimes. Bolo, look, it's been great to chat to you. Thank you for being with us. Really appreciate you joining us.